and several other big states today going into polls. So there's no doubt that the 7th phase is a very crucial one. Not the biggest, no doubt, but of course it's definitely a very important one.
Well, Akshita, also on the other side, if you look, Uttar Pradesh, it has been the fight for Uttar Pradesh by a lot of people, a lot of important candidates also in the fray in Uttar Pradesh. We have the Gandhi siblings. I mean, they were campaigning in Amethi. In fact, Priyanka was representing Rahul in Amethi, and we have his cousin in Sultanpur. So it looks like it's also a battle among the generation next.
Absolutely. In fact, there's a lot of talk about the generation next in these particular elections. The fact that the youth could play a big role, and politicians who are considered to be the future of our country playing a big role in their fate being sealed. But as you mentioned, Uttar Pradesh is a key state where gives 80 seats in that particular state alone. Of course, it has been broken up into several phases, and each party will be vying for the majority in that particular state, because everyone has been talking about how it has such a major chunk of seats that it could pretty much change the way the elections are perceived, and that the party which wins in that particular state could in fact emerge victorious in the entire country. So that is the kind of sentiment that Uttar Pradesh holds. So there's no doubt that every time
Lok Sabha में मुझे बोलने का मौका दिया गया, आदरणीय सुषमा स्वराज जी ने और पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेताओं ने आगे बढ़ने का मौका दिया। फिर उसके बाद युवा मोर्चा का राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष आदरणीय नितिन गडकरी जी और राजनाथ सिंह जी ने बनाया। मोदी जी का पूरा आशीर्वाद रहा। तो कुल मिलाकर पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेताओं ने आगे बढ़ने का मौका भी दिया और हमने प्रयास करके मेहनत करके काम किया है। आज जनता के बीच में जाकर उसी बात का फल मिल रहा है कि लोगों ने अपना अभूतपूर्व सहयोग समर्थन दिया है, प्यार दिया है, और निश्चित तौर पर इस बार भी जीत होगी। देखना यह है मार्जिन कितना होता है, हैट्रिक तो लगेगी। अभी इस बारे में देखिए, 2009 में भी कांग्रेस के पास कैंडिडेट नहीं था, 2014 में भी नहीं। और कांग्रेस जब उधार पर कैंडिडेट लेकर आती है, चुनाव लड़ती है, तो वो मुद्दों पर राजनीति नहीं करती, वो अनाप शनाप बयानबाजी करके राजनीति करती है। और इस राजनीति का कभी किसी को लाभ नहीं हुआ। हमने जनता के सामने हिमाचल प्रदेश को कहां लेकर जाएंगे, हमीरपुर का विकास कितना होगा, फिर तेज हो विकास की रफ्तार, अब की बार मोदी सरकार, ये स्लोगन लेकर हम चले थे कि अटल जी और धूमल जी की जोड़ी से हिमाचल प्रदेश को लाभ मिला। अब मोदी जी के साथ जब मुझे काम करने का मौका मिलेगा तो निश्चित तौर पर हिमाचल प्रदेश को लाभ मिलेगा। बहुत असर है, मोदी जी बहुत लोकप्रिय हैं, हिमाचल को अपना दूसरा घर मानते हैं, और उन्होंने कहा है हिमाचल के लिए कुछ ज्यादा करके दूंगा। तो हिमाचल के लोग भी पिछली बार 4 में से 3 सीटें दी थी, इस बार 4/4 सीटें देंगे, चौका लगा कर देंगे। देखिए, आम आदमी पार्टी दिल्ली में अच्छा करने के बाद मुझे लगता है अपने एजेंडे से फिसल गई। जितनी तेजी से ऊपर गई उतनी तेजी से नीचे आ गई। जिस पार्टी की कोई विचारधारा नहीं, जिसमें लोग अलग अलग बातें करते हों, और हिमाचल में जिसका कोई आधार नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता वो हिमाचल में कुछ ज्यादा कर पाएंगे। लेकिन 16 तारीख का इंतजार रहेगा।
Anurag Thakur from the sitting BJP, as well as the candidate for the BJP from Hamirpur Lok Sabha constituency. In fact, the Congress, Anurag Thakur, in fact, was one of the people who had made sure that the BJP had, in fact, strong footing in the state. But recently, the Congress had lodged a complaint with the Election Commission against him. What they allege is that Anurag Thakur was, in fact, concealing financial details in his election affidavit and demanded that he be debarred from contesting the polls. But the MP came down and has, in fact, cast his vote at his constituency, and over there also it looks like the BJP is looking for, out of the 4 Lok Sabha seats, is looking for the complete victory that they want, though they've been able to give 3.
Absolutely, but also Himachal Pradesh is another key state, of course, that we are looking at. There's also Uttarakhand, so we're looking at quite a very prominent face at this one, considering, of course, for South India, it will be Simandra that's closely watched. Several constituencies up for grabs there, and of course, the battle will be between YSRCP and TDP. In fact, a lot of people are stating that this particular battle could swing either way. It doesn't matter what opinion polls have to say. It's always been a close battle between the two. Each of them, in fact, have been on a campaigning spree of sorts, bad-mouthing the other and, in fact, verbally abusing the other. But the question is, how will the people react? How will the people vote? We have to keep in mind, Verghese, that for the TDP, for Chandrababu Naidu, if he does not win these particular Lok Sabha elections, it is being predicted to be his last ever, and that his political career will come to an end if, in fact, he does not win these elections. On the other hand, for YSRCP, this is their biggest chance to come to power. They're riding high on a wave, on Jagan's wave. In fact, people to a great extent are, in fact, chanting his name, believe that he could be the change that they need to see and that he will go ahead and look out for the people of Simandra. So, of course, a lot of people feeling very strong about Jagan Mohan Reddy, but at the same time, TDP's chances are very high. Also keeping in mind that they have allied with the BJP in these particular elections. That, in fact, is a very smart move by the Saffron Party as well. Time and again, it looked like the alliance would break off, but the BJP has taken that extra step to ensure that come what may, they will go ahead and concede to whatever the demands of the TDP are, because they know exactly how important this particular alliance is to them. Because without the TDP, they stand absolutely no chance in Simandra. They will pretty much vanish from the site, just like Congress has. So it is a very important alliance for them. So we will have to wait and watch to see if the alliance has paid off for the TDP as it has for the BJP so far. And of course, coming to YSRCP, they have of course made it very clear that they do not need any alliances to go ahead and win these particular elections. But the question is the fact that Jagan Mohan Reddy has in fact lost a lot of time. There were so many months when he was stuck in jail. So of course, does that in fact affect him in some sort of a way? Because we have seen a lot of activity at that time. He did, yes, go ahead and make a lot of statements from jail, but at that point he wasn't really in touch with the people. So will that affect him is something that we need to definitely look into. And of course, there are a lot of questions about Simandra as such, but to highlight, of course, the Congress's role in Simandra, it's very much limited. Verghese, only incumbent MPs are pretty much contesting, and they too may face the incumbent or in fact the anti-bifurcation wave.
Well, at present, this is the 8th phase of polling that is happening in the 9-phase poll that is occurring across the country, and it is one of the most crucial polls as there are heavyweights going in for this particular election, and it is their fate that will be decided by the voters in these constituencies. Especially in Amethi, we have Rahul Gandhi, Smriti Irani and Kumar Vishwas, top leaders of their own respective parties, who are actually going to fight it out. In fact, the BJP and the AAP have seemed to have broken an unwritten code that existed, that in the rivals camp one need not campaign nor actually put up a strong candidate. But at present it seems that that unwritten code has been broken, and in fact the Congress is being challenged in its own backyard, and especially in its leaders' own backyard. There are 64 seats that will be going for the polls today, and one of the other crucial states is the Simandra region, where the YSRCP and the TDP are locking horns in a very close fight, where it could be a do-or-die situation, especially for Chandrababu Naidu, where he's also facing a small kind of a rebellion from the NTR family, who's trying to reassert their control over the TDP. At the same time, YSRCP is also trying to ensure that they will be able to become the first party to be in power in this bifurcated state of Simandra. Jagan Mohan Reddy is also trying to play national politics, with trying to grab the maximum number of seats in Simandra, and also in an effort to play kingmaker. So there is a lot of ambition among the two parties in the Simandra region. They are also will be looking, there are issues that they will be looking into, will be also the new capital region, which would have to be significantly fixed for the Simandra region. On the other hand, Uttarakhand also is going to the polls in the 8th phase, and what we know is that Uttarakhand will be in fact judging with the kind of natural disaster that has happened in the region. The government will be quite judged by the people with their performance in that region. Also in the crucial constituency of Baramulla, which is in fact neighboring the border areas with Pakistan, people have braved the gunfire and have come in fact and are voting and taking part in one of the greatest exercise in democracy. Well, that's all in this edition of the Bulletin. We'll get you more election updates next.